Hey everyone, welcome back to Neokills Gaming. We are back with another Dungeon Defenders Awakened video, and in this one we are going to be going over all the equipment. It will be a full guide from the basics all the way up to everything you need to know about how to set your gear and your equipment up for your heroes. I also wanted to let everyone know here that in another day or two I will be coming out with a leveling guide for everyone. I just need a little bit more time to go through some more maps and figure out what the best XP rates are, and probably the quickest way to do it, or at least a efficient way of leveling up. So if you're interested in something like that or anything else with Dungeon Defenders, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video. And I also wanted to thank everyone again for all the subs. We are getting closer to our goal of 1,000 every day, so if you want to help me out, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated. So now, the first thing everyone needs to know about equipment here is they come in 5 kinds of rarity, or quality as it's called in this game, and they are marked accordingly by their each color. So when you come out of here, you will see a little, like that one's green, you can see the little green around it. Same thing with the blue and the magenta there. Unfortunately, there is no way to see it on the map as of yet. I have played with all the controls and all the settings, and I cannot find a way to make it appear on the map. Maybe that will be implemented with one of the future updates. Only time will tell with that. But let's go ahead and pick all this back up here. Now, as many of you may already know, that there are 5 different kinds of equipment also from the original Dungeon Defenders. As you can see here, they're all called something different. I don't know what the point of all this was, but if you click on just Ancient and then all the gear with the Ancient, you can see every single one of these are leather equipment. You see right next to the helmet it says leather. Chest, leather, everything is leather, so ancient is equivalent to leather. We do not have any of this one yet, so I'm not quite sure what that will be, but there used to be 5 in the original Dungeon Defenders. So as you can see, guard is going to be your male, militia, everything in militia is chain, and so on. Everything in minor is plate. And as you can see here, we have everything that is plate equipped right now. We have, and you'll see here, we have a 3 out of 4 on armor. So in the original Dungeon Defenders, many of you probably already know this, but there was a equipment bonus for if you wore 4 types of all the same type of armor, you would get a boost. And it would greatly help you out. It was almost necessary to do something like this towards the end game. So by looking at this here, first we're going to try something with like a leather piece. Oops. We'll do this here. Alright, now as you can see, with all of our equipment on, our stats are pretty basic. We have 1 vitality, 3 attack, 4 power, 1 range, and 1 defensive rate. So now we're gonna look here, and we are missing a chest piece. So we'll go ahead and find, those are all helmets, something for the chest. This is the chest, and this will add 1 to the skill and 1 armor. So we're gonna go ahead and equip that, and you can see our stats increase accordingly, and we're still at 3 of 4 though. Now if we unequip this and we change our filter, we go back to the minor set, which is plate, which is the rest of the set that we're currently wearing. Now look at this plate here. This is supposed to add 1 power here. Actually, let's do this something more basic here. This adds 1 power and 1 armor. So let's take a look at our armor. We're at 5% currently on the armor, and our power is currently at 4. So by adding this, we should be at 5 power and 6% armor. When we add it though, we go to 7 power and 8% armor. That is because now we have completed a set here, and we are getting, it's actually like an invisible bonus it seems. I can't really tell. Well, it seems like there might be a little glow around here. So if we try this with, let's try some other stuff here. See, now you can see a little bit more noticeably how there's like white lines on the outside of this, showing that it's a complete set, as well as the 4 of 4. Now there's nothing actually showing here, showing that the sets are boosted, but they are boosted. So now, so it's very beneficial to actually use these like one set of armor for each hero. Now, another thing that everyone should be aware of here, which it might seem like common sense here after all, but again, just to make sure here, on the left side there, you can see vitality and attack. Now these are things that you're going to need for a DPS hero. On the right side, you have fortify, power, and defensive rate. Those are everything that you're going to need for a builder or someone like a hero that you're using for building your traps or your towers. So if you are focusing on this hero being a straight DPS hero, you want to look at gear that has more stats on the left side, and for building towers on the right side, obviously. Also, another little thing here, if you hold, well actually I guess you have to have something equipped first, but if you hold left shift, you can actually bring up the comparison window. That actually took me a little bit to figure out, because I was actually kind of frustrated that I kept having to go back and forth to check it out, but then I figured that out. That makes it a little bit easier, so that way you're able to compare. But this in the long run is going to greatly help you out with your gear. These little boosts and everything like that are going to end up being a game changer here towards the end, and it is going to be necessary end game. So it is better to get used to like using your equipment like this to start now, so that way, you know what I mean, you keep your sets. And like say like now your monk is going to be all in plate. If you want to change later down the road to a completely other set, that's fine, but generally it's easier to like say keep your monk in plate and then keep your huntress all in leather, and so that way when you get new leather pieces, you know you're looking at that for your huntress. I mean, like my huntress I use specifically, I like to use my huntress for a DPS type character. So if we're looking here, like right now we got 2 out of 4 on this. So if we switch on over to the huntress here and look at all leather stuff, like we want to look mostly at DPS stuff, so stats that are on the left side, and just add things like that. And as you do higher level stuff, you'll get more rare things. Like all these epic level stuff have been dropping on insane runs, and it's not too hard to find it, but you'll find better gear. Now one other thing is upgrading is different. I initially thought that we would not be able to upgrade because there's no forge anywhere inside the tavern, but there is a way to upgrade, and by clicking on your armor here, actually I'd rather show this on the squire just because of the sword here. So let's go look at this upgrade. Now that is our current currency. You can see, like, if we're gonna put everything here into fortify, that's how much it's gonna cost, and we're gonna get a total of 10 points added to our current value of 1. So now we're gonna be at 11 if we actually confirm that. Leveling your gear is actually pretty expensive, and you probably do not want to do this until you actually have like your level capped and the highest level gear possible, but just for a future reference down the road. So it can add a lot of stats to each piece of your equipment. Also, if everyone may remember that adding a lot of stuff to elemental damage will actually increase your damage by a huge amount. As you can see right now, we are at 67.5 for the elemental damage, and it doesn't go up a whole lot with the first couple ones, but as you start adding more and more points and more upgrades, let's reset all these points, you can see how it starts going up a lot more and a lot faster. So like if we look at a higher level sword here, which it's at none and none, we'll look at a higher level weapon here. Like this one here is purple, so this should have a couple more upgrades. Yeah, 18. So if we go down here to the elemental damage, and look, we're at 97.5. Start piling a bunch of points into here, and look at how high it went with just 18 points. The other one only had 10, and we got to about 300. So that is a great way to increase your damage. and that used to not grow as fast with like the regular melee damage, but I was playing around with it a little bit here, and you can see you actually get up there pretty far with the melee damage also, which typically the melee damage is better because when you have a elemental damage, there are different element mobs out there, so sometimes you're going to find certain ones that are resistant to that specific element. Now, it doesn't seem like you can actually select the element, and it doesn't, well, right here it says it is poison, so it does have, you have to like keep an eye on what element it is if you are doing the element. And also, there used to be armor rating for each element as well as just straight physical damage. It looks like all that was removed though, and is now just in one armor rating. So eventually you're going to want to find pieces with, if you're going to have a DPS character, you're going to want to find enough pieces and get your armor rating percent as high as possible, so that way you're able to tank through and live through most of the blows and make a better DPS character. Alright, so to summarize, if you're building a DPS character, you want to focus on your armor, your melee damage, your elemental damage, and all the stats on the left side there, so your vitality, your attack. You can see all that right here. Those are the things you want to focus on mostly for a DPS character. If you're building a tower builder, you want to focus on the right side of the stats and the things that are located right here. If you're upgrading your gear and stuff like that, again, I recommend waiting until you have the highest level or you're at the cap, so that way you're not just throwing away a bunch of money. Typically I like to use my Huntress as my DPS character, and the other three I spec towards builders because I like using all their traps, and I like to use my Huntress to, you know, for boss fights and stuff like that, anything I need a little extra DPS in. But if you have any comments, questions, concerns, let me know down below, and leave a like on the video. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, especially if you want to see more videos on Dungeon Defenders. And any recommendations or anything you want to know, let me know, and I'll try to come out with a video to help you guys understand or, you know, find the best ways. Like I said, the next video I'm probably going to do is a leveling video, so that should hopefully help everyone out. And anything else, just let me know, and we'll go with that as we get there. Alright, thanks again for watching, and until next time, everyone.